Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of 3 Geeks Flix. Joining me as always is the somewhat surprised man himself, the Muse, Justin Kyle. Say hello everyone, Justin.
Hello everyone.
Yes, and of course I am the Tech Mitchell Wright. We're back. We got at least a two-parter here tonight. And surprisingly, the Tech had a clutch list ready for your viewing enjoyment, and as I always do, I'm going to make the Muse explain to you what a clutch is.
Okay, so a clutch is a generally it falls between the 8.5, 8, 9-ish grade level.
Right.
It's something that if it comes on cable, you're glad it came on. You're like, yes, what a great treat, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that is like, stop what you're doing, watch this, like a game changer, but you'll do laundry to it. You'll vacuum to it, something like that, right?
Vacuum to it. All right.
Probably not vacuum, but
Okay.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's good. It's always a classic film. It's something reliable, something that's solid. Like, yep, this is always a good watch. You watch them. That's what you do when they come on.
That's what you do best. All right. I like it. We got a little original on that one.
Hey.
Didn't know where you were going with vacuuming, but hey, that's okay because, as I always do, I look to you, good Muse, and say, Justin, give it to me. What you got?
Okay, so this is a great example for me, and I'm sure for you too.
Okay.
This is the textbook clutch film, 1995, the Richard Donner directed film
Oh, Richard Donner.
called Assassins.
Ah ha ha.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, classic textbook, right?
That's clutch. Textbook
Clutch.
Absolutely, man. Shoot.
In their, I don't want to say in their prime, but Sylvester Stallone,
Prime,
classic.
yeah.
Yeah, that's around his prime.
Yeah.
For sure around Antonio Banderas' prime.
Oh, yeah. It was in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, Julianne Moore. See, when I found out
a
that
young Julianne Moore.
Yep, that was her up and coming.
Yes.
But when I found out that Donner directed too, I was just like you. I was surprised. I was like, hey, you know, that's classic.
Superman, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you got two assassins in a cat and mouse game. They're both actually cats, if you want to think of it in that term, right? But man, you know what's interesting though?
What's that?
I looked, and you could say something about this, but this has a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
See, that's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's the thing, man.
Tomatoes doesn't always get it right.
They don't. So
That's why you watch this.
It's a textbook clutch. I mean, right?
Oh yeah.
And the only reason why this is on my list is because literally I saw this on TV and I was like, oh, sweet Assassins! I'm gonna watch this, right? That's a textbook clutch, right?
You know, you did exactly what you said you do. So, I mean,
sweet. Yes.
Antithesis, baby. Antithesis.
Yep.
All right. What's your number for it?
I'll give it back in the day. I mean, we're talking 95. I'll probably give it an 8.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. It's got rewatchability. It's enjoyable. Absolutely.
And it's interesting. It does hold up because it's not like special effects heavy. It's story and suspense driven.
Yes.
And they succeed at that.
And it's kind of like a handing of a torch from the older action generation to the new with Banderas, which now Banderas is in that older generation, and Sly Stone is somehow not aging and still doing movies.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, very nice, sir. My first clutch is a 1999 movie, Mr. Tim Burton directed. Stars Mr. Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci, Mr. Christopher Lee, Ian McDermott, and Christopher Walken. The Walken, baby, the Walken.
The Walken.
In Sleepy Hollow.
That 99? That came out in 99?
It came out in 99. This was kind of one of your first films that they took classic fairy tales and stories and gave them a darker twist. Now, Burton, even though he gives things a darker twist, it still has somewhat of a 90s campy feel to it in certain points. But this one was definitely darker at that, which Burton does well. Depp, you know, relevant as always in this, in the 90s, especially early 2000s. He was definitely getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That was coming up to the whole Pirates thing that he's done from here on out. Christina Ricci was still very relevant at the time.
Yep.
She hadn't gotten so edgy.
Yep.
She was still in her younger years. Christopher Lee, timeless actor.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Yep.
Ian McDiarmid. I mean, if y'all don't know who he is, that's the Emperor, folks. That's the Emperor from Star Wars. And then the Walken baby. Everybody's got to love the Walken as the horseman, the Hessian.
You know what's interesting about that?
What's that?
Well, first off, that was a great choice.
Thank you.
Number one, Burton was perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
He really was. He was perfect. But the Walken was perfectly cast.
Yes.
And he barely says anything.
No, and he didn't even want to be credited.
He was a great cast.
He wanted it to be a complete reveal, and I thought that was awesome. This movie, as we're sticking with, it's an 8.
Okay.
It's an 8.
I agree.
It's got some rewatchability. I enjoy it. I can't give it quite an 8.5, but it's definitely an 8.
Yeah, and it's also visually, it's textbook Burton. I mean, the cinematography is beautiful.
Yes.
The lighting, the color schemes are beautiful.
And of course, Danny Elfman did the score, as he always does. They're peas in a pod.
Textbook. The fact that it's a period piece and all practical, it does sort of hold up, kind of. I mean, yeah,
absolutely.
Solid. Textbook clutch. Very well. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along. My second film, when this came out, and I'm sure you'll agree, this became an instant sci-fi classic.
Oh.
It's a 2009 release of a film called District 9.
Aha, yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So
there's actually a petition for a second one.
Yeah, that's been around for
and I believe
a while,
the director's on board now as well.
Yeah, Neil Blomkamp, he was going to do an Alien spinoff, and then Ridley came back on to do Covenant, and that's kind of been sidetracked. But I mean, hey man, as soon as this came out, this caught everyone from surprise.
Oh yeah.
With the political undertones, the substance of the story, the symbolism, the symbology. But yeah, man, the special effects were good. They were solid. The gritty style, the documentary style, the handheld.
Very much.
The with the social symbolism with what's going on. Neil Blomkamp came from Africa, so that's kind of what he incorporates into almost every one of his stories. Even with the one with Matt Damon, Elysium, that's a great film. Yeah, that's a good film too. I don't think it's as good as District 9.
No.
But you can tell they have the same overtones to them. So
yes,
it wasn't game changing. I'll probably say 9.
I'd give it a 9 because it did some things that weren't done before, and it really opened some doors.
Yeah.
And you know, the political overtones kind of add to it because it's really a thing that you got to think that could happen, quite frankly. And who's to say that the way we're screwed up in this day and age, we wouldn't do something like that. And we're not going to get political on this show, but you have to look at the reality of the symbology and the political undertones in it. So
yeah,
it's part of it. It's part of the review, folks.
Yeah, and I do want to say this. Do you remember how sweet the trailer was for that?
Oh yeah.
Like how suspenseful that trailer was?
Oh yeah.
Dude, that trailer
and left a lot to be seen.
That trailer is easily 9.5.
That's a great trailer.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I like it. Very nice.
Thank you.
My next film is actually, we're not going very far back. It's a 2016 film.
Okay.
It had Mr. I don't know, a young man by the last name of Femel, and then it had Miss Patton in it, and then it had a Mr. Ben Foster in it. It was directed by Duncan Jones. It was the live-action rendition of Warcraft, the beginning. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, God, really? How is this a clutch? Okay, well, I play Warcraft since the days of Vanilla. That was the first one, okay? I lived in the same apartment complex the Muse does right now back then and played it in one of these very apartments here. So it has some warm blanket value to it to me. Now, is the movie flawless? No, it was flawed. It was very fast-paced. They really tried to put a lot of information in. It really could have been broken into 2 movies just in the beginning to really give you a feel for the characters and bond a little better as far as story. But all in all, when you go back and you watch it again, you kind of start to be able to see past some of those flaws, and you be able to sit there and kind of enjoy the movie and really look at the CGI and the effects they used. And they were really great effects.
Yeah.
They did some new things, and you really could feel some emotion in those Now, what am I trying to say?
Stop motion?
No, well, not stop motion. I tried to say stop motion. That was wrong. Motion capture.
Motion capture.
That they used, and I really kind of sit back and enjoy it more for what it is. Now, they'll never be able to tell the lore and the story that's involved in the movies itself.
Yeah.
But overall, it is a decent movie. It is at times solid, and at times it fails. I wouldn't give it anything near an 8 or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'd have to give it a 6.5. It's still okay. The 6 range is still okay.
Yeah,
it's still passing.
Yeah, for clutch.
And it's a clutch. And like I said, it's on. I don't have anything else going on. I'm going to sit and watch it. Is it going to make it to where I'm just extremely excited about it? No. But you know what? I've got something to do for the next 2 hours. And that's what matters.
That is a great definition of a clutch. That's a great definition of a clutch.
It's going to keep me entertained for 2 hours at least.
Yeah.
Somewhere around in there.
All right.
Somewhere.
Duncan Jones, man.
Yeah. And thanks to Korea, Japan, and China, and all those other places.
Made a ton of money, right?
It made a ton of money over there, and we're going to get a sequel.
Is Duncan Jones doing the sequel? Do we know?
Pretty sure he is.
Well, Moon is one of the most criminally underrated sci-fi films of all time, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
Beautifully shot. I mean, he's got talent in his DNA.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's going to argue against that.
Yeah. I mean, look
Rest
at
in
who his
peace.
father is.
Yeah.
Mr. David Bowie, if you don't know.
Yep. Good, man. Good.
Thank
I
you.
dig it. I dig
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, moving along. My third film is a classic film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you'll agree.
Mm-hmm.
This won the Oscar for Best Picture as well as Best Leading Actor. It is the classic 1988 film called Bloodsport.
That is, God, you've done it again.
Yeah. So
this did not. No, you go ahead and clear the air.
Well, it didn't win any Oscars, but it could have. But it could have won Oscars, right?
It could have won Oscars.
For the this could have won easily Best Score. Remember how awesome that Kumite. Dude, this is a clutch. This is a textbook. Now this isn't a clutch in like the best sense. This is one of those clutches that comes on, and remember, this could be in its own genre. It comes on, you're like,
yeah.
I'm not really excited about this, but I'm excited to laugh at it. Right? It's more of a comedy these days than it is. But at the time, let's get real. At the time, from what I was told, now I was born when this came out, and I remember it being awesome. But from what I was told when this came out at the time, this movie was pretty legit. Now, we're talking late 80s as a generation. Now, a lot of things don't hold up from the 80s.
No.
This certainly is not one of them.
Yeah.
But at the time, man, Jean-Claude, this was his first like major role, and it's classic. I mean, it is iconic in a way. Not in the best sense, but who hasn't seen Bloodsport, right?
Few and far between, especially in our day and age.
Yeah.
Now, some of you youngins, I don't know. We can't quite speak for you, but that's okay.
It's a classic clutch, but not in the best sense of the word. So,
what's
right?
your number?
If it comes on, you watch it. That's what you do, right?
Oh God, I can't be it. What is your number for this one?
If we're looking objectively as a good clutch film, it's not going to be very high. Maybe like a 4. But if we put this in another genre, like funny films that are entertaining and not like a Starship Troopers, especially today, I'm giving it like an 8.
Okay.
So
depends what category you throw it in.
That's the thing, man.
But in a clutch category, you're gonna.
It's not very good. Yeah, it's not very good. Doesn't
Some of the best ones are like those scenes to where he was like snapping someone's neck, and it goes to Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he's got this constant orgasm face of stuck on there. You all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Don't get on to me for saying that word, orgasm face.
He's doing the splits at the sunrise on top of a building. Right? And then the villain Bolo, he's like, I must break you.
and it's still, even when he says it, it looks like there's like an English dub.
Yeah, it's classic, man. When he does his signature kick, who thinks that doing splits makes you manly? First off, when you do this, it is kind of cool, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If you're really looking to hurt your manhood, I guess that's the thing for you. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's all right. Yeah.
Anyways, going on to my next one is wow, this is the third film, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a 1999 film. Nobody talks about it. No one should ever talk about it. has Mr. Edward Norton, Mr. Brad Pitt, and Mr. Jared Leto, along with Meatloaf, in Fight Club. Now, I know we talked about this before and certain other things, and if we talked about it on another clutch, you, Twilight, get over it, okay?
Yeah.
This is my turn on it.
Yep.
This film, for me, falls into several categories. I honestly think this film is a 10, because there was nothing like it before. Nothing quite like it before.
Yeah.
It had the twist. It had the twist that became so popular, and still is somewhat popular in a lot of movies, that was right there in front of you, but you didn't see it. Star-studded cast.
Mm-hmm.
Star-studded cast, and star-studded upcomers like Leto, my boy.
Yeah.
Shout out. But anyways, what I'm trying to say here is the score was great.
Yep.
The acting was great. Yep. The story was phenomenal. But if you look at it, a lot of people don't understand that there's undertones in this movie.
Yeah.
That you really need to go back and watch. And I'm not talking for that end scene where it clips in and you get to see whoever's Wang or whatever it is. No.
Yeah.
I had enough fraternity brothers do that in my time to where they would love to turn on this movie in other people's rooms and pause it at that moment so that when you walked in, that's all you saw.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily say that makes it the warm blanket, but watching it in college made it a warm blanket. But anyways, I'm getting a little off topic here. This film has things that other films never did. It dared, it tried, and it succeeded.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
sure.
If it's on, you're going to sit down and watch it. Because, yes, that's what you do. And that's what you're supposed to do. And don't ask any questions about it. Because no one talks about Fight Club. Even though it is a 10.
It is a 10. It's absolutely a 10. And I'll tell you this. And almost, for people that have seen Fight Club and people that really appreciate filmmaking as a craft, it's hard to imagine not a lot of people putting this in like their top 100 most movies with the most rewatchability.
Absolutely.
Right? And even though it's one of those, it's such a good suspense. As soon as you watch it, the whole thing, you want to go back and rewatch it. That's the ultimate test of a suspense, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because there's things you want to see that you missed. Yep. Or like, holy crap, I didn't see that. Or, yeah.
Yeah, this is what put Fincher at the top. I mean, this is signature Fincher. It's signature Pitt. It's signature Norton. It's signature Helen Bonham Carter. I mean...
Absolutely.
This is it, man. This is absolutely a game changer.
Absolutely.
This is the textbook psychological thriller of our generation.
Agreed.
Great choice.
Thank you for making my point.
Great choice.
Your turn.
All right. My fourth film. Textbook clutch, man. I'm excited about this one, too.
Okay.
1994, action thriller. Stars the great Keanu Reeves.
Oh. Okay.
The great Sandra Bullock.
Okay.
A little film called Speed.
Yes,
sir. Textbook, right?
Yes, the original Speed, baby.
It comes on, what do? You watch it.
Oh, it stays on.
This is one of those ones, man, where even though it's in the 90s... Now, if you compare this to a movie that came out 3 or 4 years later, which is Con Air, Con Air is a lot more cheesier than Speed.
Yes,
and Speed holds up a lot better, right?
Right. Well, it stayed away from the overly cheesy 90s feel that was always out at the time.
That's what made it great, man. That's the thing.
Exactly.
I mean, great writing. This is one of Keanu's signatures. It's up there with Point Break.
Yes.
Which is another clutch.
Yes.
But man, there's for people that have seen this, especially growing up, this is also a warm blanket for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of those ones that you don't have to say a lot about if you've seen it at the time, right?
There it is. He said it.
That's the thing, man. So, it is what it is.
It is what it is. What's your number for it?
I don't know. Now, I do think, and I don't remember, you would know more than I would, but this was one of, if not the movies of that year, in 94, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Not so much as far as, like, money that it made, but, like, people talked about it, like, popular movies.
Absolutely, yes.
I don't know if I don't think it changed filmmaking.
No.
So, I'll give it an 8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I feel good about that number. 8.5 is acceptable.
Okay.
We'll take it. Yes, sir. I like it.
Thank you.
Congrats on
Thank
that.
you.
My fourth film is, it's a little unconventional. It really doesn't get hardly any really love to it. And it's surprising because it is actually a great film, and the cast alone should blow your mind, as well as the director of the movie. And I'm going to read the cast here for you, and you're going to be just like, oh my God, what is this epic film? It's got Orlando Bloom, it's got Liam Neeson, it's got Eva Green, it's got Edward Norton, it's got Michael Sheen, it's got Brendan Gleeson, it's got David Thewlis, and it's got Jeremy Irons. Directed by Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott! It's the 2005 film Kingdom of Heaven. Now, this is a movie about the Crusades.
Yeah.
And about the fight against Saladin, which I think was fantastic how they portrayed, finally, the Persians and the whole crusade itself at the time. This film, I can't say enough wonderful things about it. It is not your great star-studded, like, pushed a ton of money into, like, CGI and all these scenes and everything. It had very Ridley Scott shots and cinematography.
Yep.
Had a good story. Had a great cast. It was well acted. But when they did have those war scenes, they were practical.
Yeah. And
they felt real. And in that story, you felt that strife. All the characters were built upon. I can't tell you all enough. I know everybody's like, well, Robin Hood, they kind of told a crusade story. Well, the whole Kevin Costner Robin Hood, it is a great movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that's kind of your afterthought. This is in the heat of the moment. This shows you what it was really like and what was really going on. And it's an awesome story. And that a lot of people don't understand that behind that mask, the king was Edward Norton. And he didn't want to be credited. And I've got two movies here to where you had two great actors that wanted to stay out of the spotlight. Walking in Sleepy Hollow, and then Mr. Edward Norton in Kingdom of Heaven. Kingdom of Heaven is a 9.5 to me. And the reason it is that, and the reason it is a clutch, because I enjoy the story. The acting is spot on great. And it will honestly, for it's over 2 hours, like 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah. I
enjoy watching it to no end. And I know a lot of people don't know it and haven't watched it, but really check it out. And I can guarantee you won't be disappointed. Now, it's not going to just floor you and overwhelm you.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a period piece. It is definitely beautifully acted and directed. And the cinematography in it is something to appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those ones where, I mean, it's Ridley Scott, so you got gorgeous cinematography, gorgeous visuals, right? Great action.
Yes.
This is Orlando Bloom literally at his peak. He hadn't had another movie like this where he was the lead.
Right.
He was the spearhead. I mean, he was on the poster. And it's one of those ones where I think they had multiple cuts, and the director's cut, Ridley Scott's director's cut, is what people really, really like.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's a beautiful shot. It's a textbook clutch. It's good. It's good. Solid. I like it.
Thank you. It's not a mic drop.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's not like a Gladiator or anything.
No, but this was after Gladiator,
That's
and you
correct.
kind of got to think how long was he holding on to this. But you would think with that cast it would be a mic drop.
That's the thing. That's what's interesting is just from reading the description, you're like, how is this not a 10? How is this not a game changer, right?
And it's because it very much felt like a follow-up to Gladiator, like an afterthought.
Kind of like the Robin Hood with Russell Crowe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Good. Good. I like it.
Thank you.
Like it.
Thank you.
Okay. My fifth film.
Final
film is the classic film, and I say this is the clutch because literally I had another clutch-esque experience. This came on TV, and I was like, yes, I know what I'm doing for the next 2 hours. Classic film. This depending on who you talk to, I consider this a game changer in the industry. This is a mic drop textbook. It is the 1976 film called Rocky.
Ooh.
And the reason why I consider this a game changer is because this was a very much textbook independent film. Very low budget.
Yes.
They were on a tight everything. Tight on actors. And this won the Oscar for Best Picture that year. This is a sports film.
Yes.
This is probably the one of, if not the best sports film of all time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we're not talking about the sequels to it, which are all entertaining.
Oh,
almost all of them.
Yeah, they have their entertaining moments.
Right. Rocky IV. But man, let's get real. The first one is so emotional, so well done. Mm-hmm. It's such a beautiful template for sports films moving forward. The fact that Sylvester Stallone wrote this was his breakout role, and he got offered hundreds of $1,000s for the studio to buy it, and he said, no, you're not going to buy it unless, you're not going to make this unless I can play Rocky.
Right.
I mean, the stuff that he went through, this is why you got to respect him, right? As a writer, now as a director and producer. I mean,
Absolutely.
this is a textbook role. I mean, Rambo's great, but this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I mean, with what they did with the filmmaking, the emotion, the climax of it. Name another movie like that before that at the time, a sports movie that just consistently went like that, with the amount of heart, with the amount of raw talent and acting on such a risk, and they pulled it off.
Absolutely.
That's why I say it's got to be a 10.
Absolutely.
Right?
I agree.
And it is a clutch.
It
if this
is
comes on, you're watching
It's a clutch.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
Yeah.
And for some out there, it could be a warm blanket. It falls into very different genres, and it does it well, and it holds up through all of them.
And it's also timeless, too. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Because of the story, the themes. I
Absolutely.
mean, the ultimate underdog, Rocky Balboa.
Adrian?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to completely break the mold here and not have a film that's going to be so heartwarming and cherished.
Yeah.
It's a 2007 film. It is a comedy. It has Mr. Michael Cera, Mr. Jonah Hill, and Mr. Bill Hader in Superbad.
Yeah.
I've got one word for you folks.
Yeah.
McLovin.
McLovin?
How awesome is this? And the reason I thought of this film as a clutch is because, and I've got to give a shout out to my buddy Jimmy. He's a cop up in Oklahoma. I'm not going to say where. But he Snapchats me one day. And he just Snapchats me that he's watching Superbad. And it's that scene where McLovin's running around with him in the car.
Yeah.
And I just can hear Jimmy going, sweet, I know what I'm getting ready to watch for the next few hours. And he watched this show and he was like, clutch.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh, I've got to give him a shout out to this. This is more of a tribute one for you out there. But really, this film,
It's a clutch,
it's a clutch film. It's hilarious. One of the few comedies that have come out of the 2000s that I actually have to say had me laughing, had me hurting.
From laughter.
Yeah, just in and out. Classic Sarah, classic Hill, Bill Hader in his youth before his office role. Babyface Bill.
Yeah.
Babyface Bill back then, man.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that couldn't sit down and laugh and enjoy moments of this movie, man. Is it groundbreaking? Is it game changing? No, but is it classic clutch material that you will sit down and watch and enjoy and stay entertained no matter what you're doing? Absolutely. You will not turn the channel. You will not turn this movie off. You will sit there. You will enjoy every moment, especially Jonah Hill being in his younger years. That smart-ass teen that always has an answer to everything. And it's not the most logical answer, but after he gets done telling you why you're going to do it, you do it.
Yeah, that's what you do.
And it's just good times. Good times. So, overall, I give it an 8.
Yeah, it's interesting. So when did that come out? 2005, you said?
2007.
7. Okay, so for that generation, when that came out, there are some things about that film, comedically, that are iconic.
Yes.
That almost everyone knows.
Yes.
Jonah's hair, for instance. That's one of the things, right?
The white boy fro.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, man. That's Jimmy said it best. He knows what he's doing for the next 2 hours. That's a clutch.
Indeed. So,
Yep.
Shout out to you, my good friend. Thank you for being the third geek. And check us out on Facebook, 3 Geeks Flix. Give us a like, comment, holler, troll us. You don't do Facebook, we've got Twitter. It's at the number 3 Geeks Flix. Flix is record. Stop copying me.
Dude, I didn't say anything.
You better not.
I didn't.
It's of course spelled Flix. Give us a like there. Give us a subscribe there. Holler there. You are gonna get hurt.
I swear, dude.
Your mouth.
You'll see. Watch.
Yeah. No.
You're doing fine. Keep going. Keep going.
You're stepping on my. Never mind. I'm not gonna finish that one. But get on YouTube. Give us a like. Subscribe there as well. Since somebody over here is trying to throw me off my game.
Yeah.
You're still butthurt about how I started that last episode.
Maybe.
Maybe?
Yeah. Maybe a little. Just a little bit.
Anyways. You know what I like?
Yeah.
Long, uncomfortable silences. That's what I'm doing to you right now. I tried to beat him, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Anyways, appreciate y'all sticking around and stay tuned to the glow of those monitors, because we're going to catch you next time. Good night. Oh, hell, I've been just having this play. I forgot to stop the recording.
Sure.
Quit trying to look over at my clutch list.
Sure you are.
Quit trying to look at my clutch list.
Hello, everyone.
You're so paranoid.
This is what you've done, man. You programmed me to be on pins and needles every freaking episode.
Good. That first little outtake things where you tell
Don't
us.
make us look like douchebags.
Yeah.
I still think if we reach 1,000 and we do like a tribute show, I see going back chronologically, and that should be like the last thing. It's like the first thing we recorded. We're like, don't make us look like douchebags. Too late.
Brightness. Well,
All right.
air conditioner's coming down.
Do you want a
I
jacket?
can see my nipples.
Do you want a jacket?
You are just great right now. What?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I can feel it.
Got a fever? Need some Afrin or something? Nothing. Don't take that. That stuff's like, you can get addicted.
But there's something about that I think is cool. I like the idea of putting pictures on the floor. Sue says they have to be hung on walls.
Yeah?
It's almost like
You can put them
rebelling.
wherever you want.
Damn right I can.
What's your apartment?